random research and ramblings of a dog. Welcome to Tasper's Tour Bus.
Welcome to the tour for July. I'm Tasper, your tour guide. That's why it's called Tasper's Tour Bus. Though one viewer did point out I'm a Husky and I should be pulling a sled. You don't get a dad bod like mine by pulling any damn sled. This is bodybuilding by beer. Let's not lose track of priorities. In a moment, we'll talk about Anthrocon, but first, I have to revisit TikTok. Last month, I brought you the story of how TikTok, the popular video service, would likely go completely dark on June 19th. However, as of today, it's still working in the United States, and, well, you may be wondering why. The answer is quite simple. I incorrectly guessed that the TikTok ban would finally go into effect. Oops. I didn't expect the president would extend it for a third time just prior to deciding to bomb Iran. Who knew? Certainly not me. However, for those of you curious, the new date for the TikTok ban is currently September 17th. Will it finally go dark then? Well, your guess is as good as mine. In fact, your guess could be better. Anthrocon 2025 occurred during the 4th of July weekend, bringing a little bit more fun, fur, and fantasy to downtown Pittsburgh. Known as one of the largest furry conventions in the world, Anthrocon drew over 18,000 attendees from across the globe, filling hotels, downtown streets, and of course, the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. With post-pandemic attendance booming, organizers had encouraged attendees to pre-register, and many took that advice seriously. In fact, this year's event reached 90% of its capacity before the doors even opened. That left only a limited number of single-day passes and weekend passes available at the door. Organizers had voiced their concern for months that the event may actually sell out for the very first time. So did Anthrocon actually get to the point where they had to turn people away? Well, that's harder to confirm without being part of the inside registration team. 18,375 officially attended, and potentially countless others who merely went to Pittsburgh to see friends without registering for the event at all. However, this upward trend is a clear sign that planning ahead is a must for future attendees, and pre-registering for the event is probably the best idea moving forward. Anthrocon's growth has been nothing short of legendary. It's often held up as the blueprint for running a successful furry convention. Midwest Fur Fest, for instance, looked to Anthrocon as its model when it was getting started, and that's no coincidence. Of course, Anthrocon hasn't been without its hiccups, and I've been known to voice my own critiques over the years. But honestly, its wins far outweigh its flaws. Anthrocon sells out multiple hotels, it shuts down entire streets for a parade, and it maintains an unusually close and positive relationship with the city of Pittsburgh, its home since 2006. That bond gives Anthrocon a unique energy that you won't find at any other convention that I've ever attended. If you've never been, I absolutely recommend checking it out. Just keep in mind, it's huge, it's held in the middle of summer, and depending on your hotel, you'll be walking or shuttling. A lot. For Anthrocon, you'll need to pre-register, and for nearly everything else, including your meals, you're best to pre-plan. But if you're prepared, it's one of the most unique convention experiences that this fandom has to offer. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend Anthrocon this year. Anthrocon has become more of an occasional treat than part of my regular stop on the con circuit. That means no on-the-ground videos or first-hand reviews from this year. But what I can offer is a little something different that you may not have seen. A rare look at Anthrocon's early days and just how far it's come. In a moment, we'll blow the dust and some fur from some never-before-seen video footage as we rewind the clock back 24 years to Anthrocon 2001. The convention made a major move to Philadelphia's Adams Mark Hotel that year, and the attendance was a whopping 1,457. That's right. Fewer than 1,500 people walked through the door that year, and at the time, that still made it the largest furry convention ever. Seriously, in those days, the idea of 1,400 furries in one place? That was staggering. No one expected such a large turnout. Even Uncle Kagi, the now longtime chairman, described it as the surprisingly largest furry convent ever at the time. Today that number may seem quaint, especially compared to Anthrocon's fursuit parade alone, but in 2001, it was historic. And here's a little bit of what that looked like. Please bear in mind, we're watching 24-year-old technology here. The video quality isn't even what you'd expect from a cell phone today. Also, this was 2 decades ago, so some of the people are sadly no longer with us. One such person is the guest of honor that year, Dan DiCarlo. He's featured here with Uncle Kage, at the 2001 charity auction.
Would you please stand up, Mr. Dan DiCarlo? Go on up in the front, sir. I'm going to let you, if you want to, walk a little distance with the runner. Do you want to say a few words around this piece, or shall I take it? Where'd I get it? Josie gave it to us. If you want to. Is this mic turned on? Let's find out. It sounds like it's on.
Yes, it is. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go for it, sir. Where are you gonna go? Oh, just tell us about this piece. Yeah, step over here and tell us about this piece. And talk directly into the microphone, like an ice cream cone.
Well, it's a cover drawn maybe a year ago, and that's it.
He's such a man of few words. Let's hear it. David. One of the finest comic artists I know. This is 96, yes, a couple years ago. This is an original cover for an Archie comic. As we know, Mr. DiCarlo did many of the Archie comics for many, many years. They screwed him over out of royalties. Screw them. But you can screw them back by getting one of the original covers back from them. Mr. DiCarlo is graciously offered this original cover, donated by Dan DiCarlo et Josette. If I may start the bidding, please, at $50. $50 for original Dan DiCarlo artwork. 50. Somebody said 50 already. Don't be a copycat. I have $50. You can say 60. 75. Ah. I have $75. I have $75. Original. Ooh, it's original. Archie's Pals and Gals, double digest. Runner. It is cover art. This is original comic cover art from one of the greats. And it's got Betty in a bikini. $75. I have $75. Going once. I have $75. Don't embarrass the man. We should make this $7,500. I have $75 going twice. Sold for $75. Thank you, sir. Thank you. On behalf of Anthrocon, the Reigns of Life. I'll let you give the microphone to the security guy. Don't let him say anything, though. Anyway.
Over the years, many things have changed. Mostly gone are the days of people hanging out in the hotel hallways with sketchbooks, and the convention outgrew the idea of being in a single hotel many years ago. In fact, the Adams Mark Hotel that once hosted Anthrocon was demolished nearly 20 years ago to make way for a Target store. One of the most striking changes in the furry fandom is the evolution of the fursuit design, a change that's visible worldwide. Back in the early 2000s, it was far more common that you handcrafted your own fursuit rather than commissioning one. But as the internet expanded and more people connected, interest in the fandom surged, and so did the artistry and accessibility of fursuits for everyone. You can easily see that transformation clearly in this clip from Anthrocon's 2001 fursuit-friendly dance. For copyright reasons, we've changed the original music in this clip. However, at the time, most furry conventions featured top 40 hits, songs almost everyone in the room would have recognized. That choice was not only logical, but it was also strategic. These dances were a major highlight of the convention, and playing obscure and mostly unknown songs, well, that could easily empty the ballroom, an expensive mistake for the organizers that could also lead to dozens of hotel noise complaints from loud room parties. Yeah, there was a time that Anthrocon didn't completely sell out an entire hotel, and loud animal people room parties, well, that didn't always impress other hotel guests. Anthrocon has long been a convention worth attending. Over the years, the faces have changed, the events have evolved, and the fandom itself has grown. Back in 2001, furries were still largely tucked away in the corners of the internet, rarely seen by the broader public. Of course, today, we're a vibrant presence across nearly every social platform, from Facebook to Blue Sky to Instagram, probably even Instacart. Whether that shift is better or worse, well, that depends on your perspective. After all, as the saying goes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But what if you find yourself longing for the simpler days of a furry yesteryear, a time when hotel rooms were available for months, not just minutes, and conventions built their schedules around the idea that every event should be appealing to everyone? Does that space still exist in today's fast-paced fandom? Well, when we come back, we'll explore that exact question.
Hey, Rob? Yes, Bob? Do you know what a furry is? Isn't that what they call someone who doesn't shave? No, Rob. A furry is someone who is interested in anthropomorphic animals, animals that have human-like qualities, such as the ability to speak, wear clothes, or walk on two legs.
Are you sure it's not somebody who doesn't shave?
Yes, Rob. Some furries also create their own original characters, called fursuiting, which represent them as a unique animal with human traits. A few people even wear costumes called fursuits of their fursuiting at events or conventions. Being a furry is mainly about having fun and connecting with a community that shares a similar interest.
Do you want more iced tea, Bob?
I do.
I don't know, don't ask. All I know is this. We promised the guy we got the videos from 2001 that we would play that. So I did. I do these things for you. But back to the question at hand. Could you still experience what Anthrocon might have felt like back in 2001? The answer is surprisingly, maybe yes. According to Wikifur, only 42 other furry conventions have ever surpassed Anthrocon 2001's attendance numbers even today. That means there are dozens of smaller furry conventions offering more accessible hotel rooms and a closer-knit community atmosphere. But smaller doesn't always mean better. Larger conventions benefit from bigger budgets, robust programming, and many dedicated volunteers. Smaller cons often rely more heavily on what you bring to the experience yourself. That can be great if you're prepared. If you're thinking about attending a small event, it's best to do so with friends. In fact, that's good advice for any convention, big or small. Back in 2001, there were only 4 furry conventions in the entire U.S., so the odds of knowing people at every convention, it was pretty high. Today, it's possible to have 4 conventions in 1 month. The chances of attending a convention where you don't know anyone, well, that's really greater today. That may not matter if you're just there to fursuit or take in the sights, but if you're hoping for a deeper interaction, the difference is real. If you go to a furry convention, it's best to participate. And the best way to participate is to have friends there. Otherwise, you're not really a participant at all, just an observer that's likely watching others have fun with their friends. In other words, you can easily feel out of place and not much like an attendee. If you'd like to try a smaller convention, here are some you could consider, in no particular order. While these events are all based in North America, it's worth noting that many furry conventions exist around the world. So one of those might suit your preferences better than some of these. That said, it's always a good idea to choose a convention that's geographically close to you. Not only is it more affordable, but staying within your own region, well, you can help avoid those subtle cultural differences that might catch you off guard. Even within the same country, regions can vary in everything from customs and slang to the overall pace and vibe of the event. To put it simply, if you're used to the rhythm of Oklahoma, you might find North Carolina to be a bit, overwhelming. Choosing something small and local can put you at ease with a sense of familiarity and comfort. Before we leave the idea of conventions, one other thing. Post-con depression, it's real. You'll plan for weeks or months for something that'll be over in just a few days. That shock of everything you've planned for suddenly ending, that can be quite difficult to adjust to. But nothing makes that worse than coming home and being completely broke, too. Make sure you have money for the normal expenses of life still available when you get home. That may mean putting several hundreds of dollars in the sock drawer, or maybe moving money to a completely different bank. Whatever you need to do, make sure you'll have the money that you need for that sudden flat tire, or food for the next 2 weeks. Be sure to put it aside and don't touch it until you get home. Well, we've done it again. We've come to the close of another tour. But if you missed last month's, you still have a chance to climb aboard. We had a few empty seats, several thousands, so feel free to join that tour by clicking the video on the left. Well, my left. For you, it'd be on the right. Well, just click this thing. You can learn about bird attacks in Sarasota, Florida, or watch me tell you completely wrong information about TikTok's upcoming ban, which didn't happen. I'll be back again next month with more random banter. Thank you ever so much for coming along. Until next month, I'm Tasper, just looking for answers.